Hello, welcome to RTV Telugu. We have been discussing in the program called Teaching English to the Sheep about how we as human beings in this country called India started our life, domesticated our animals, and then innovated our agriculture, how villages were formed, how our families began to live a collective life, and then how they developed technology for production, technology for cooking, and technology for traveling, and how they also started migrating from villages to cities in order to make a different city life. Today, in this lesson, we will first see what is happening in the cities and where are our villages now in 21st century when we are discussing in 2023 today. Now, as you all know, there are a number of cities which have more than 1 crore population in India. And these bigger cities have several airports, railway stations, several bus addas, and there are huge malls, universities, colleges, huge hospitals, and cinema theaters, several what people call facilities which are not available in the villages. But how did human beings or how did Indians made these cities with so many things that are not available in villages? And also we must see whether there is a link between what our villagers produce, the food in the village, and constructed a bullock cart in the village, and made a pot in the village, and made small iron tools for various agricultural uses in the villages by our ironsmiths, and our goldsmiths did their job of making ornaments for women or ornaments for festival seasons or children and so on and so forth. And how our village, a section of people called washing communities, were cleaning the village cloth by allowing the people to work again and again with clean clothes on their body. Now, whether there is a link between what the urban life is with all these facilities, huge hospitals, railway stations, airports, and educational institutions, universities particularly, which are the key center of learning in the modern times, where we need a lot of books, we need a lot of laboratories, we need a lot of classrooms, and so on and so forth. Now let us understand the very simple thing that if there is no village agriculture, if there is no village bullock cart, if there is no village ironsmith, goldsmith, carpenter, pot maker, shepherd, washing communities, there is no urban city at all. Because all those technical masters, once they developed small things at a village level, you know, people from the soils, they understood which soil can produce better crops. They studied soils. Is there a soap character in the soil, so that if we use that for cloth washing, our washing community used soil soaps, and they heated clothes at the river beds, at the tank beds, and they cleaned the whole village clothes, and then again gave the clothes back, and they are great. And we have barbers who were doctors, who operated upon on several kinds of wounds, cleaned our hair and nails, and when women delivered, barber women work like midwives, like nurses and doctors now. So everything that we see today in the city, in a bigger form, in a much developed form, they are actually first started by the villagers. The village producers, the village carpenters, the village shepherds are our greatest knowledge source persons and food source persons for our institutional resource persons historically. We don't understand this. There are no books about the link between the, what they call Dalit today, who made the leather technology of India, or the Adivasis, the tribals who discovered all our food items, what to eat, what root, what fruit, what animal flesh, which is good for body, which is not poison. It were they who understood first and gave it back to us as a civilizational food. And then after coming into villages, our shepherds really, looked after sheep, goat, buffaloes, cows, bulls, everything. And then made both production labor force as well as food resource. Certain people say that these people were illiterate, these people were stupid, they were not knowledgeable. That is all absolutely not correct. If that knowledge is not there, imagine a small thing. You get rice in urban areas in the shops. You go to any big mall, you have bags of rice, and you go to any big mall, you have bags of wheat. You go to any big mall, you have vegetables, you have, dal, you have sugar, you have fruits, everything. Where do they come from? Who are the people who actually began producing them? Who are the people who improved the science and technology of these commodities which are available abundantly in the villages? Look at a city like Hyderabad or Delhi or Bangalore or Bombay or Kolkata. Now, thousands and thousands of people sell fruits. Thousands and thousands of people sell vegetables. And thousands of people, keep selling clothes. Cloth market is one of the biggest market in India, because we need to have clothing for 135 crore people, children, and each human being needs to have 3 dresses, 4 dresses. Sometimes if they are rich, they buy 10, 20 dresses. Some poor people manage with 1 or 2 dresses. Once upon a time, lot of our people were living with semi-naked bodies. For example, my own father and his father and his father and grandparents of ours. My father used to wear a shirt only when there was traveling from his village to another village. Otherwise, he used to be only on dhoti. Not only my father, many. And women used to have only 2 saris which are very roughly made and with a small blouse on their body. So, from that stage now, almost every human being has 2 to 3 dresses minimum now. Now, how did this happen? The cloth production. To understand the roots of it, we have to go to villages again. Because unfortunately, we have all kinds of books about wars, about love affairs, about middle class problems and novel stories and so on. But there are hardly any books about what the villagers made on their own knowledge. And in this country, they were not allowed to learn reading and writing. They were not allowed to, learn letters. Even then, they preserved their knowledge and father taught son, mother taught son and daughter, so generation after generation. They taught young children how to work. Lot of children never went to school but started working at the age of 6. There were famous songs in Telugu, perhaps in Hindi, in Tamil, about the child labor, that how, leaving the mother's milk at the early age of 4, they would go for doing small work in the rich people's houses and they never studied. But if they are allowed to study and write books, India would have become the greatest book writing, knowledge, science discovery, and technology discovery country if villagers of all castes were allowed to read and write, discuss freely in our. Unfortunately, the caste system stopped this. They attributed all this to God. No, God says that you don't allow this human being to read this book. No, God says, I understand only this language, not that language. Whatever the God in whichever religion, that's all stories. They are called cock and bull stories. Gods understand all languages if you want to appeal to God in any language you speak. So they stopped the knowledge from spreading from family structures and fields and carpenter's workshop or ironsmith's workshop in the village, small under the tree, or a weaver's workshop, or a shepherd's wool cutting and wool weaving mechanism, or milking and making milk, curd out of milk. This whole science and technology that was happening in the villages were not allowed to be written by so-called educated people. They have committed a crime against our civilization. They have also committed a crime against God actually. Because God never said that don't allow this person or that person, this woman, that woman not to approach God. God should be accessible to everyone at every time. So, this controlling mechanism made our civilization backward. Now, when all the village children are going to school, they are learning amazing things. They want to experiment amazing things. But one thing is coming in their way. All our children are not being allowed to learn English language. They are being forced to study in Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Hindi, and small regional languages where lot of research cannot be written about and lot of research cannot be sent outside your state borders so that the humanity outside reads about them. So, if there are cities today, if there are malls today, if there are computer centers today, if there is high-tech industry today, it is because of our pot making science, our iron smithing science, our shepherding mechanism, our agricultural science, and our washing systems, and our barbering, our Dalit, leather working, and so on. So, we must teach to our children in the villages in English medium only in English medium. Telugu you learn, Tamil you learn, Malayalam you learn, no problem. But your medium should be English. I appeal all parents to send their children to only English medium by 2024 elections. All over the country, you must demand for English medium in all government schools. So, in the next lesson, I will tell you how human beings started the small technology and then we reached the computer technology or cell phone technology with the same linkage. Without that link, it would not be possible. Thank you.